Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidil Mursaleen. Amma ba'd, fa'a'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. My dear sweet Islamic brothers, let's recite Durud and Salam. As-salatu wassalamu alayki ya Rasulullah wa ala alika wa ashabika ya Habiballah. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا نبي الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا نور الله. नफली इत्काफ की नीयत फरमा लें. नवैतु सुन्नतल i'tikaf. Excellence of reciting Durood Pak. It mentions here the Holy Rasul sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa alihi wasallam has stated, whoever recites salat upon me 100 times, Allah Azza wa Jal will write between his eyes that this person is free from hypocrisy and the fire of hell. And Allah Almighty will keep him with the martyrs on the day of judgment. Sallu ala al-Habib sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. The topic today in the book of Call to Righteousness on page 452, 3 suicides in every 2 minutes. Now, there might be a person out there that might be having thoughts of suicidal. Alhamdulillah, the person who becomes bayat with Amir Ahl Sunnah Damat Barakat Mu'aliyah, try to go on the website www.dawateislami.net/murid. Become a murid of Amir Ahl Sunnah, inshallah. You will be part of the du'as of Amir Ahl Sunnah. So if you're getting these thoughts, then you should read the wazifa, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. So try to recite this regularly, at least 100 units every day. And insha'Allah Azza wa Jal, this will help to take away the thoughts of suicide. Insha'Allah Azza wa Jal, we're going to listen to the punishments of those who commit suicide, and we're going to try to understand why people commit suicide. Here, I mentioned regretfully, suicide is a very widespread these days. One of its biggest causes is ignorance about Islamic knowledge. There is a growing trend of suicide amongst clean-shaven and emotional and modern beadless boys. Schools and college students, those who have worldly education, and among unveiling and fashionable women, you must never have heard about the suicide of an Islamic student or Islamic scholar or mufti or pious and veil-observing woman. It is stated on page 404, 405 and 406 of the 472-page book Discourses of Attar, Part 2. You can get this from the website. Published by Maktabatul Madina, the publishing department of Dawateislami. Regretfully, the trend of committing suicide is constantly growing in our beloved country Pakistan due to abundance of sins and ignorance about the matters of afterlife. According to a newspaper report, 68 suicides occurred in Pakistan in August 2004. With Bab al-Madina, Karachi at the top of the list, the second most suicide committing cities was Madinatul Awliya, Multan. In accordance with the same newspaper, one suicide is committed in every 40 seconds in the world. So we should do some research regarding this. I know we don't see it, but there's a lot of people committing suicide, whether it's got to do with social media and etc. I had an Islamic brother who contacted me from Bradford. Someone had hacked his daughter's account, and what they did is they took some images from her and they distorted the images by putting some nudie pictures on there and changing the face. And he was being blackmailed, and he couldn't access the password of the account. So I think he attempted to go to the police, but the police couldn't help him either. So it becomes difficult when the involvement of social crime that takes place online. And there is cyber patrol that look at, but we have to educate our youngsters regarding these issues, because easily our youngsters get easily blackmailed into these things, and they either get groomed as well. And then at the end of it, the consequences they face, they commit suicide as well. So moving forward, my dear Islamic brothers and sisters, those attempting suicide perhaps assume that they will get rid of their troubles by committing suicide. In fact, a suicide committing person gets into unimaginable terrible troubles in case of displeasure of Allah Azza wa Jal. By Allah Almighty, no one will be able to bear the punishment of suicide. Now, punishment in the fire. A blessed hadith states that a person who commits suicide with anything will be punished in hellfire with the very same thing. Whether it was a knife, whether it was a gun, or etc. Whatever he did it with, he's going to be punished with that same thing in the afterlife. Now, moving forward, Sayyidina Sabit bin Dahak radiyallahu ta'ala anhu has narrated that the beloved and blessed Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam has said, one who committed suicide with an iron weapon would be punished in hellfire with the same weapon. And this is mentioned Sahih Bukhari, volume 1, page 459, hadith number 1363. Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu has narrated that the revered and renowned Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam has said, one who strangled oneself would continue to strangle oneself in hellfire, and one who struck oneself with a spear would continue to strike oneself with a spear in hellfire. Just to finish off, I recall after reading this hadith about, and we come across a lot of people who watch dramas. You know, even on social media there's a lot of dramas going on, and a lot of our household watch dramas as well. And the majority of Indian dramas that you come across is all about love stories. Now, this individual in Pakistan, long time ago, a young lad, right? He was engrossed in watching Indian dramas. And what happened is he fell in love with someone. And when he fell in love with someone, he insisted to actually marry this individual, but the parents where he lived would not allow it. So what he did is he committed suicide. So he hung himself on one of the fans at the top, and he was a young lad. And this has happened due to watching dramas, Ishq-e-Majazi. And they say, look, if you fall in love, it's natural to fall in love with someone, right? But it's how you treat that love. For example, you came across and you fell in love with someone, and now you got to look at the Sharia aspects. What is the jaiz for me to do? It's to send a paygam of nikah. Some people, what happens when Ishq-e-Majazi happens, they end up doing zina, they end up doing wrong things, and then they regret it afterwards. And there's an individual who was dating some girl, and the consequence was that he ended up having a child with this girl. But he wasn't married with her. This relation went on for quite a while. So what happened is, the family members of this individual approached us seeking advice. So once we went to the house, because they were troubled by this individual, what this individual was doing, he was damaging the property of this lady, of this family. He's vandalizing either the vehicle, the house doors, etc. So we kind of found out the reason why it was happening is because he was engaged with someone else in a different location, and the family got him married, but they didn't know about this other relationship was going on. So what happened is, when the lady that the child he had with, what they did, they took claiming, and they were claiming child maintenance. And when letters started coming into the house, he started seeing these letters, and then he was causing problems in his house, and that's why he was causing violence to their house as well. So you see the consequences of what happens when you do wrong things. Islam has given us a contract. It's given us witnesses. Yeah, and it's a proper channel to do these things than doing behind and in secret, doing wrong things. And a lot of youngsters are getting engrossed in this. And they don't, and Islam teaches us to marry. And I know the other Western culture, they don't get married. And they just enjoy themselves. And then they move on. And when they have children, then that child is without a father. Yeah? He's going to grow, where is my father? Or where is my mother? And then, the effect goes on the children. So we need to educate our children, inshaAllah. May Allah Azza wa Jalla accept what is being heard and give us the ability to follow Islam fully and not partially, and to also guide our youngsters who are falling in the traps of Ishq-e-Majazi as well. And also when these things happen, and they can't achieve whatever they want to achieve, then they go on the lines of committing suicide as well, and which, big lack of knowledge, and this is why these things happen. Sallu ala al-Habib, sallallahu ta'ala ala Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين جزا الله عنا محمدا ما هو أهله بسم الله على ديني بسم الله على نفسي وولدي وأهلي ومالي. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, forgive the mistakes of dars. Ya Allah Azza wa Jal, give us true amal of the deen. Ya Allah Azza wa Jal, protect our youngsters from ishq majazi. Give them the ability to follow Islam fully, and give them the ability to avoid and to be tricked by shaitan. Ya Allah Azza wa Jal, bless our youngsters. Give them a pious life. Give them a life of ibadah in the jawani, in the young age. Ya Allah Azza wa Jal, there's many that become old and then they realize, but make them realize now and make them the ability to come closer to Islam. Our masajids are empty, Ya Allah. Give us ability to neki ki dawat and to invite Islam brothers to fill our masajid with worshippers and to prepare for the akhirah. Protect our Muslim brothers and sisters around the globe who are suffering from oppression, who are being tortured, who are being engrossed in zulm. Ya Allah Azza wa Jal, remove the zulm, Ya Allah, and give us a peace and harmony around the globe. And Ya Allah Azza wa Jal, guide the enemies of Islam. If there's no guidance for them, disgrace them. Ya Allah, remove the positions and guide our leaders as well. Give us ittihad, make us one, make us strong, and give us ability to abide by the commandments of Allah. Oh Allah Azza wa Jal, an Islamic brother has requested for dua. He's going for Umrah Sharif. Ya Allah, accept his travel, accept his good deeds, accept his pious deeds, and grant him success. And by the sake of his travel, accept all our sincere du'as. Sallallahu ala nabiyyil ummi wa alihi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Salatan wa salaman alayki ya Rasulullah. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wassalamun ala al-mursaleen. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.